Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to go over SAT algebra, specifically linear equations in one variable. We're going to solve questions with medium difficulty. And just know that all these questions that we'll be solving in today's video are taken from the official College Board question bank. So it is really likely that you're going to get like similar questions in your actual exam. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the first question, and you guys can pause the video and attempt it, and then I'm gonna solve it. So I'm gonna solve it now. X is the solution to this above equation, okay? And we are asked to find the value of x minus 3. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna solve for the value of x first, and then we're gonna find x minus 3. So in order to find the value of x, we're going to multiply 3 with 2x and then 3 with 6, which is going to give us 6x minus 18. And then we have minus 11 here, which is here, equal to 4 into x and 4 into minus 3, which is going to give us 4x minus 12 and then plus 6. Okay. From this line, we can take all the like variables with x to the left hand side and all the constants to the right hand side, and we're going to get 2x minus 2x equals to 23. Now from here, we can find the value of x, which is 23 by 2. Now, we need to find the value of x minus 3. So x minus 3 is going to give us 17 by 2. Now, I want you guys to like note one thing carefully. That is, like we got x equals to 23 by 2. Some students, what they're going to do is that they're going to see this, they're going to find this value and they're going to go for option A, which is definitely wrong because we are asked to find the value of x minus 3 and not the value of x. So be careful when you are solving for this. You don't want to do like a silly mistake and lose points. Yeah. So now let's move on to our next portion. So this is practice test 2. Now, so 2n plus 6 equals to 14. A tree had a height of 6 feet when it was planted. So the initial height was 6 feet. Okay. The equation above can be used to find how many years n it took for the tree to reach a height of 14 feet. So n is the years, and it is going to help us to calculate how many years it took for the tree to reach a height of 14 feet. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 2 in this context? So we are asked, like we have this number 2 here, right? So they're asking, what does this 2 mean? Okay. So the first thing you have to understand, this 6 is basically the initial height. Okay, so h naught. And this 14 is basically the final height. So final height is equals to h, which is going to be 14. And n is years. Okay. So these two is basically the slope or the gradient, because you can see that this is a linear equation. I already covered what is a linear equation. So basically linear equation equals to mx plus b. So this is a linear equation. So this 2 is basically the slope. And we all know that the formula of a slope, that is, let me just write the formula of a slope. So if you want to find the gradient, it's going to be changing y by changing x. Okay. In this case, n is our x and this 14 is our y. So the unit for the slope is going to be height by years. Okay. And now we can go and look into the option, and whichever option is going to give us height by years for the value of 2, that is our answer. So for option A, the number of years it took for the tree to double its height. So it is saying like years it took for the tree to double its height, right? Which is not true, because we know like the first is, it's going to be, it's not the number of years, it's going to be the height. Okay, so this is wrong. Now option B, the average number of feet that the tree grew per year. Yes, now this is the correct one. It's because we are talking about the height that the tree grew per year. So per year basically means dividing by years. So dividing by the time. So this is our answer, but we're going to still go and cross check the other options. The height in feet of the tree when it was 1 year old. So this is wrong. This means basically like option C means like when n equals to 1, the height is going to be 2, which is not true, because if you plug in n equals to 1, you are not going to get 2. So that is wrong. So option C is wrong. Now option D, the average number of years it takes similar trees to grow 14 feet. Okay, this is basically just totally out of the context. We are not given any information that is gonna say us like this takes like similar trees to grow. Also, we already told you guys that I already told you guys that it's going to be height by years. So and it is saying like 2 is the average number of years. So it is wrong from the get-go. Now, so that is it. Now let's move on to the next question. You guys can pause the video and attempt it. I would say this is a pretty simple question. We solved similar kind of questions in our last video. Okay, so we are given 2x plus 16 equals to a, x plus 8. In the given equation, a is a constant. If the equation has infinitely many solutions, what is the value of a? The one thing you guys need to remember, I hope you guys remember, is that like infinitely many solutions means exactly the same equation. So if there are two equations given to us and the question is saying that they have infinitely many solutions, it basically means the two equations are exactly the same. Okay, so in this case, we are given these two equations. So 2x plus 16 is equal to ax plus 8a. So I'm just multiplying this a with x and a with 8. Okay, which basically means that 2x is going to be the same as ax. So ax equals to 2x, therefore a equals to 2. Okay, so our answer is 2. Now this is question 4. Now b minus 2, x equals to 8. In the given equation, b is a constant. If the equation has no solution, what is the value of b? So in this case, we already know that since it has no solution, this basically means that these two equation has to be parallel. Okay. So since they are parallel, there are a few points that you need to remember. Parallel equations have the same slope or the gradient, but different y-intercept. Okay. Now we can use Desmos for this question. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do this in Desmos. Let me just open Desmos first. Okay, so what you can do, like this is one equation and this is one equation. So we're going to type it out in Desmos and then make sure you are typing the equation correctly. You don't want to do like, silly mistakes and lose points. And you're going to also add a slider for B. And for 8, it's going to be y equal to 8. Okay. Now, as you can see, when B equals to 1, they have a solution here, right? So what we're gonna do, we have all these four options. We're gonna plug in the value of b. Like we're gonna try every single equation, and we're gonna see for which value of b there is no solution. So here, the first option is 2. If we just plug in 2, you can see that these two lines, they are parallel, right? So they're not gonna intersect each other. So A is definitely our answer, but we're gonna still cross check with other options. Now, if it is 4, as you can see, they intersect here at this point. Let me just zoom in. Yeah, they intersect here at 4, 8. So B cannot be our answer. Now, if it is 6, B equals to 6, they also again and they intersect at 2 and 8, 2 comma 8. So C is not our answer. Now for option the D, if it is 10, D is not our answer. I hope that made sense to you guys. So A is our answer, okay? Now let's move on to the next question. Okay, this is pretty similar. Again, like I would highly encourage you guys to solve this, and I hope you're gonna get it correct because we already solved so many questions that has like infinitely many solutions or no solutions. So this is a pretty common one. Let's see the solution now. A 3 minus x minus b equals to minus 1 minus 2x. In the equation above, a and b are constants. If the equation has infinitely many solutions, what are the values of a and b? So they have infinitely many solutions, which basically mean that this side and this side are exactly the same. So they are the exactly same equation. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to multiply a with 3 and a with x. So 3a minus ax minus b is equal to minus 1 minus 2x. Okay, now if you just rearrange this equation, so ax is going to be equal to minus 2x. So we can equate them. Minus ax equals to minus 2x. And don't forget these signs. Like, you don't forget the signs, okay? The signs are important, even though they cancels out. Like, let's just say, what if like a was plus and 2 was like, there was a minus before 2. So always make sure you are using like the signs that are given, okay? So a is going to equal to 2. Now, 3a minus b is going to equal to 1, minus 1. Okay, so 3a minus b equals to minus 1. And we can just plug in the value of a here. So 3 into 2 minus b equal to minus 1. Therefore, b equals to 7. So we are asked to find the values of a. Now, as you can see, a is like 2. So option C and D are out because they're saying like minus 2. And B is 7. So option A is also out. So our answer is option B, which is A equals to 2 and B equals to 7. Okay, so now next. Okay, so this one, yeah, this one is a bit lengthy question. Please pause the video and solve it. Um, I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show you the explanations now. Okay, so an agricultural scientist studying the growth of corn plants recorded the height of the corn plant at the beginning of the study and the height of the plant each day for the next 12 days. Okay, the scientists found that the height of the plant increased by an average of 1.2 centimeters per day for the 12 days. If the height of the plant on the last day of the study was 36.8 centimeters, what was the height in centimeters of the corn plant at the beginning of the study? So, okay, we they have given us like a lot of information, a lot of words to be honest. Let's break it down. So the initial height is, let's just say the initial height is h naught and the final height is h. Now number of days is d. Okay, so we are assuming these things, and now we are going to create an equation based on these information and the information that are given in the question. Now the final height is going to be equal to the initial height plus 1.2d. Okay, because like they are saying like the height increases every single day for the next 12 days. Okay, so in this case d is going to be less than or equal to 12. Now we know the final height, so they are saying the last day the height was 36.8 centimeters. So we can plug in like for age 36.8, and the last day means basically the 12th day. So we can just plug in 12 as our D, and from here we can get the value of the initial height, which is 22.4. So one tip, read the entire question, and then you're going to dissect the question bit by bit. So in this case, I have like plucked out this information from this paragraph, and now like when I was solving it, it was pretty easy. Okay, so you guys can remember that. Now list 7. So please try it, and then we're gonna go over it. Let's go over it. So basically, if 5x plus 4 equal to 4, x plus 4 plus 29, what is the value of x plus 4? So now for this equation, for this portion, you can obviously go and like multiply 5 with x and 4, and then 4 with x and 4, and then like make an entire like huge equation and solve for the value of x. However, for this one, like there is one trick. So you can, as you can see, it's like 5x plus 4 and then 4x plus 4. So this x plus 4 is the same, right? So what we can do, we can take this entire like 4x plus 4 to this side, which is going to give us 5x plus 4 minus 4x plus 4 equal to 29. And now like this entire thing is basically same. So we can take it common, and then like we're left with 5 minus 4, which is gonna give us like 1. You don't need to write the 1. And then x plus 4 is going to be 29. We are asked to find the value of x plus 4. So x plus 4 is 29. So our answer is option C. Go ahead and try it out. Now, 2p plus 1 plus 8, p minus 1 equal to 5p. What is the value of p? So what value of p is the solution of the equation above? So we are asked to find the value of p. So there are two methods of solving it. So the first method is using by hand, so doing it by hand. So we can multiply 2 with p and then 1 and then 8 with p and then 8 with 1, which is going to give us this equation. So 2p plus 2 plus 8p minus 8 equals to 5p, which is going to give us like 5p equal to 6 and p equals to 6 by 5 or 1 by 2, 1.2. You can in like your actual exam, you can write this value of p as a fraction or as a decimal like 1.2. Either is correct. Or you can solve this one using decimals. Okay, so let me just show you guys how to do this one in decimals. I think you guys already know how to do it, but I'm still just gonna show it to you guys. Also, you're not gonna plug in p, you're gonna just use x instead of p when you are like plugging this equation into decimals, because decimals like considers any other variable except x and y as constants. So you don't want to plug in p, you want to use x instead of p. Now we're just going to type out this entire equation. Okay, we typed out this entire equation and we got a value here. If you click on it, it is 1.2. So p equal to 1.2, equals to 1.2. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this one is also pretty simple, I would say. Okay, so we are asked to find the value of 8x minus 1, and this is the equation we are given. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this minus half to this side and also this 4 to this side. So you're going to get this equation, and from here you can get the value of x, and then you can just plug in this value into this equation, and which is going to give you minus 10. So option D is our answer. And like as always, you can solve this one in decimals. You can just type this entire equation in decimals, which is going to give you the value of x, and then you can use that value of x to calculate this value. So I think at the end it comes down to whichever method you think is like faster for you. So if you're more comfortable doing it by hand, then go for it. Or if you think you are much more faster and like you're gonna solve it quicker if you use decimals, then go for it. Okay. So either is fine as long as you get the correct answer. Now next. Okay, this one is also pretty simple. Okay. So we are given this equation and we are asked to find the value of 3t. So what we can do, we can multiply this 2 with 3t and then with 10, and we can get this entire equation. And if we solve it, you're going to get 3t equal to 60. And now just one thing, initially solve for t, and then you can like the value you get, you can multiply it with 3 to get the value of 3t. However, since we are asked to find the value of 3t and we are already getting 3t from here, so I don't think you need to solve it because it's just much more faster. And again, the second method is using decimals where you just plug in this entire equation and then you're going to get the value for t, and then you just multiply it with 3. And when you are plugging this equation into decimals, make sure you are using x instead of t, okay? Because otherwise, Desmos is going to think like this t is a constant, so it's not going to generate a graph. So use x. Okay, go ahead and try to solve it. Okay, I'm going to solve it now. Megan's hourly wage at her job is P dollars per hour for the first 8 hours of work in a day, plus 1.5 times her regular hourly wage for work in excess of 8 hours that day. On a given day, Megan worked for 10 hours and her total earnings were $137.5. What is Megan's regular hourly wage? Okay, so from this information, we can create an equation. So let's assume her hourly wage is P. Okay, so her total earnings for a particular day is going to be 8P plus 1.5P into T. So this 8P is coming from this first line, since for every hour she is earning P dollars, right? Therefore, she worked for in total 10 hours. In that case, for the first 8 hours, she's gonna earn P dollars, 8P dollars, right? So this 8P is coming from here. Now, 1.5P into T. So 1.5P is coming from this plus 1.5 times her regular hourly wage. So this is 1.5 into P. And this T is for the additional hours she worked, which is basically greater than 8. So this T is greater than 8 because for the first 8 hours, we're taking that 8 here into consideration. Now, we can just plug in all the values that are given to us. So our total earning was 137.5, and this was 8p, and 1.5p into t, 10 minus 8. Why? Because this t is the excess hours. So we have to subtract this 8 hours, the initial 8 hours, and then we're going to get 2 from here. And then if we just solve this equation, you are going to get p equals to 12.5, which means B is our answer. Go ahead and try it. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you guys how to do it now. The width of a rectangular dance floor is W feet. The length of the floor is 6 feet longer than the width. Which of the following expresses the perimeter in feet of the dance floor in terms of W? So the width of the floor is basically W. So the width is W. And we know this is a rectangular dance floor. So this is the rectangle. And the length is 6 feet longer than the width. So 6 feet longer than the width, which means 6 plus W. Okay. And we're asked to find the perimeter. So perimeter is basically pretty simple. You just add up all the sides. So this side, this side, this side, and this side. You're just going to add them all up. So you have 6 plus 8, 6 plus W twice. So I multiplied 6 plus W into 2. And then you have 2W. So 2W. Okay. This is going to give you 4W plus 12, which is our option B. Go ahead and try it. This is pretty simple. I think at this point, you guys already know how to do it. And just a tip, you don't need Desmos for this. This is pretty simple. You can just do it by hand. Okay, so we are given this equation. So we know x minus 5 and x minus 5 is same. So we can take it as a common factor. And then we're left with 2 and 3. So 2 plus 3 equal to 10. And 2 plus 3 is 5. We got 5. Then x minus 5 equal to 10. Then x minus 5 is going to be 10 divided by 5, which is going to give us 2. We are asked, the question asked us to find the value of x minus 5, which is 2. So option A is our answer. Now for this one, go ahead, try it out. Let me show you guys how to do it this one now. A candle is made of 17 ounces of wax. When the candle is burning, the amount of wax in the candle decreases by 1 ounce every 4 hours. If 6 ounces of the wax remain in the candle, for how long has it been burning? So we have a wax that is made of we have a candle that is made of 17 ounces of wax. Okay. So when the candle is burning, the amount of wax is going to decrease, right? And the rate by which it decreases is like 1 ounce for every 4 hours. So after 4 hours, like 1 ounce of the wax will decrease from the initial amount. If 6 ounces of wax remains in the candle, how many hours has it been burning for? So if the initial was 17 and we are left with 6, so how many ounces of wax actually burned? 11. So 17 minus 6 is going to give us 11. Okay. And we already know that 1 ounce is going to burn 1 ounce is going to take 4 hours. Therefore, to burn 11 ounces, it's going to take 44 hours. Okay. So the answer is option D. Okay, so this one I would say it is pretty easy. Like if you know, like this kind of questions are pretty common in SAT. Like trust me, if you were to take your SAT, like even in the upcoming month, so in September, you're like just know you're gonna get at least one of this kind of questions. It's pretty common. Okay, let me solve it now. Okay. A company that creates and sells tape dispensers calculate its monthly profit by subtracting its fixed monthly cost from the monthly sales revenue, all in dollars. The equation is this, which represents the situation for a month where X tape dispensers are created and sold. Which statement is the best interpretation of 2x in this context? So they're asking us that this is the equation for this situation, right? And they're asking, what does this 2x represents? Now, we know that the monthly profit is equal to the monthly sales, so monthly revenue minus the fixed cost. From where? From this line, okay? And now we know that the monthly sale is basically these two. Why? Because this 15,000 is the monthly profit and this 4,500 is basically the fixed cost. So this one, this 2x is the monthly sales revenue. Okay. So we are gonna now read all these options and then and we're gonna try to figure out which one says that 2x is the monthly sales revenue. Option A, the monthly sales revenue in dollars for selling X tapes dispenser. Okay, so option A is exactly what you're looking for. So 2X is basically the monthly sales revenue in dollars for selling X tape dispensers. And just so this is the correct one. Okay. And just know one thing, like they're selling it, okay? Because this is the revenue. If it was the fixed cost, it would have been like making, creating. So as you can see from option D, the difference between option D and option A is that here it is saying selling and here it is saying creating. Since we are selling, like it's the revenue from selling, that's why it is the selling of the egg steak dispensers. Okay, so A is the answer, D is not the answer. Now option B and C, okay, they're talking about like option B is talking about the monthly sales revenue in dollar for each tape dispenser sold, which is wrong. This would have been correct if we are asked for only two and not 2x. So if it was like, what does 2 represents in this context? In that case, B would have been the answer. But since we are asked for 2x and not just only 2, option A is our answer. And option C, as again, it is talking about creating, which is wrong, because like as I already mentioned, it is like generating from the sales revenue. So you're selling the tape, you're not creating it. Okay. Now next. Okay, this one is pretty easy. Yeah, you don't need Desmos for this. Okay. So what you can just do, you can just take this 16 to this side. Okay, and then you can just take this 2 to this side. Oh, actually, you don't need to take this to that side. They're asking you for the value of 2x minus 8, right? So this is the value of 2x minus 8, which is basically 30. So option C is our answer. Oh, by the way, if you guys still have any problem in these portions, please let me know in the comment section. I read every single comment. Like, I mean, I have just a few subscribers, so I literally read every single comment. If you have any doubt, then I'm gonna help you clear that out. So, if you have any problem, please reach out. I'm gonna definitely try my best to help. Okay, now, question number 17. A museum rents tables to visitors. The museum earns revenue of $14 for each table rented for the day. So there's this particular museum that rents the tables for each day, and for each table they like charge $14. Okay. On Wednesday, the museum earned 406 in profit from renting the table after paying a daily expense of $112. So they earned a profit of 406 after deducting the daily expenses, which was like for 1100 sorry, which was $112. How many tables did the museum rent on Wednesday? Okay, we are also given the formula for this how to calculate the profit. So profit equals total revenue minus total expenses. Okay, so let's see how you're going to solve it. So we're going to first assume X is the number of tables that is rented. Okay, and the profit is $406. Total revenue is basically 14x. Why? Because for one table, they charge $14. In that case, for X tables, they're going to charge 14x. Now, we're going to subtract the total expenses, which was this $112. And then we're going to solve it and we're going to get X equals to 37, which means they have rented 37 tables on Wednesday. Okay. I hope I made that clear. Now let's go to our next portion. I think this is the last one. Yep, this is the last one. Okay, go ahead, try it, and then I'm going to solve it. Okay, let's solve it. The cost to rent a commercial fishing boat from a certain company is $950 for the first 2 hours and an additional of $50 per hour for another hour after the first 2 hours. Okay. If the total cost to rent the commercial fishing boat from that company is for T hours, where T is greater than 2, is $1,100, which equation represents this. Okay, so from here we can generate an equation. The total cost is going to be equals to 950 for the first 2 hours and 50T for any additional hours. This 50T is coming from this line, $50 per hour. Now, since we already know T is greater than 2, meaning we have to subtract 2 hours, the initial 2 hours from this T. Why? Because like we are taking 950 for the first 2 hours. We already took this 2 into consideration when we wrote 950. Therefore, we have to subtract this 2 from this T. Therefore, this is our equation. So option C is our answer. Okay, so that was the last question, and thank you very much for sticking till the end. And if the video was helpful to you guys, it would be really nice if you could like and subscribe. It really helps to grow my channel. And if you guys have any new suggestions for me, any new video ideas, please let me know in the comment section or any feedback on how I can improve. I would love to know that. And see you in the next video.